Nukem! It's like Miles 44 and back with another Cardfight Vanguard. Cardfight area? Deck profile. Reason I said it like that was like, what were we doing in Cardfight area? I'll explain in a minute. But anyways, today's deck profile. With the release of BT16 version E, we have the dragon that is a thing nowadays. So we try to seek him out. Hey? So we can save our butts. That's so bad. Seeker, thing save a dragon. So yeah, with the release of BT16 version E, got this bad boy card. Very strong restanding Vanguard for Royal Paladins. Glad Royal Paladin has a restanding Vanguard. And just a really strong deck. Get a few pluses, knock your opponent down. End of story. Normal Royal Paladin shit. Yeah. One thing about this deck though, it is a little different. There's another build you can do with Thing Saver and Alfred Jiv. I will be uploading that probably like in a week or two or something, for anyone who wants to know. This deck profile is more of the focused Thing Saver dragon. Like Thing Saver will get his Legion skill off a couple times, instead of the other one where it's more balanced, like you use Alfred Jiv early on to just pressure with a crit and get a plus, and then just finish off with one restanding Vanguard attack, and then he can't really stand again because you don't have enough counterblasts. So because of that, this deck is the more Thing Saver focused deck. I will upload Alfred Jiv in like a week or two, and that'll be, if you want that deck profile, you can go check that one out. I'll like leave a link to it or something, maybe a little icon of the thumbnail or something. But yeah, I put that out there, letting you guys know what kind of deck profile this is. The Alfred Jiv will probably be like a Thing Saver 2.0. It won't actually say it, but it is. But yeah, so anyways, let's jump right into this. Let's go to our starter. Cardfight area, I have to use this because Crayon Line does not have, barely has any Legion stuff. It only got the early stuff, like early stuff, and it wasn't part of version E and stuff. So that's why I was capable of doing Grynngal and Phantom Blaster Abyss, but the rest all gonna have to be on this. I prefer not using it because stuff can pop up and it'll show on the screen, but I'm hoping that doesn't happen. I've done this a few times. It's annoying. So our starter is Advanced Party Seeker File. Basically a Claudus clone for Royal Paladins. You put it into your soul, and when your Vanguard performs Legion, you may pay the cost. If you do, you search your deck for a Bladeseeker, call it to rearguard, and that's it. So you don't pay a counterblast, but your Vanguard has to Legion. That's the switch around, and if you want, you can counterblast to kill something that might be of importance to your opponent. That might be a big deal. So you might have to do it. If not, whatever. You get a grade 2 unit to pressure on with. So yeah. Anyways, moving on to our grade 3s. Once I could scroll down. Oh man, why do I have to start with starters? Ugh. So for Seeker, Thing Saver, that's not Seeker, Thing Saver Dragon. If you don't know what he does, it's Legion. His Legion mate is Blaster Blade 2000, Blaster Blade Seeker, Legion 2000. And his skill is Counterblast. His Legion skill is Counterblast 2, Soul Blast 3. Choose 2 cards from your hand and discard them at the end of the battle that this unit attacked the Vanguard. If this unit is in Legion, you may pay the cost, and if you do, you search your deck for one card named Seeker Thing Saver Dragon, write it as stand, and choose one card named Bladeseeker from your soul, perform Legion with it. So you basically get 2 Legion attacks. Same thing as Phantom Blaster Abyss, except the difference with Phantom Blaster Abyss is you don't write another one. And I guess kind of why that happens is because of the fact that Phantom Blaster Abyss can only use it the turn of, whereas with him, you just Persona ride from the deck and then re-Legion. So it kind of balances out a little, how you will not be able to Legion more than twice. But that's kind of what this deck Legion attack do the Legion restand more than twice. But that's what this deck focuses on, getting that Legion restand twice. And yeah, so just a really, really strong card. Royal Paladin finally getting restanding Vanguard, and he's just a really, really powerful card that can just stomp on your opponent if you play your cards right and don't get a thing Cyber Dragon in the damage zone. Well, I mean, if you lose 1, it's not a big deal. If you lose 2, well, so you do at least need 3. But if you haven't rode enough Wingals, well, how do you do it a second time? You gotta ride another thing saver. But that's of course situational, and it's just a really, really strong card. Can use Legion restand twice. 2 turns in a row, man. Quite pressuring. And then our other grade 3 is, as I said, this isn't the Alpha Div one. So we have Seeker, Sacred Wingal. He's basically like your setup grade 3 for Thing Saver Dragon, because Legion decks are more about setup now. Early on. So his Legion mate is also Bladeseeker. And when this unit performs Legion, its Legion skill is when it performs Legion, you search your deck for 1 grade 2 or greater card with Seeker in its card name, call it to a rear guard, and then shuffle your deck. And then when it attacks against 2,000 power, Thing Saver Dragon also has that when it attacks against 2,000 power. I don't know if I said that, but I guess a nice trick would be to do. I haven't done this yet. I just thought of it now, to be honest. A nice trick would be, when you perform Legion, you can call a Thing Saver Dragon to ensure it doesn't hit the damage zone, as long as you have one in hand, because then I wouldn't do it, because you want to get one soon enough. But yeah, you could call it to, so when you, because you want to do this, you want to do Legion at least like twice with Wingal, so you're going to get your first ride and then you're going to re-ride it. On the second one, I'd recommend getting like a Thing Saver Dragon. So you could try to get it into the drop zone. I mean, it's a nice strategy if they're using something like Norakami or Kagero or something. But if they're not, they might guess what you're doing. So if they're not using something like that, don't try that, because they could guess. But if they do attack your rear guards quite a bit, maybe you could do that. It's an option depending on what your opponent's like and everything, but it sends the Seeker to the drop zone, which when you Legion, you can just send it right back in the deck, and that means 1 doesn't go into damage. Of course, all you need is 2 Seeker Things Saver Dragons in the deck, and then the one as your Vanguard. So losing 1 isn't a huge deal, but if you've already lost 1, or maybe you've had to re-ride or something, I don't know. I'm not too sure. It's situational, but I wouldn't recommend doing it. I normally call it units just to kind of help myself out, like Bladeseeker or one of the other 2 units. Anyways, let's move on to our grade 2s. Enough about blabbing my blabs. For Bladeseeker. So what he does is you counterblast 1 when this unit is placed on a rearguard circle. If you have a Vanguard with Seeker in its card name, you can pay the cost. And if you do, you choose one of your opponent's grade 2 or greater rearguards and retire it. So you can't snipe anything in the back row, but you'll still be able to snipe something early on with him. If it's really important to your opponent, like setup wise. So if your opponent wants to set up and they haven't Legioned or anything yet, you can get Bladeseeker to just knock it out. I don't use this when I don't need it, though, because there's another card that helps me out, which is 4 Lightning Bowseeker Gildas. You counterblast 1 when your Vanguard Legions. You may pay the cost. And if you do, you search your deck for 1 Seeker, call it to rearguard circle, and shuffle your deck. So he helps you get pluses. And if you really don't need to knock anything out, like if there isn't anything scary, don't do it. Just use Gildas's skill to get yourself a plus, because there's nothing important you have to knock out. Yeah, so I play 4 of him just to try to get him off as much as I can, to be honest. As if I get a heal trigger, maybe 2. A lot of the time, that's kind of what I do. I play 4 just so I can get it when I Legion, and the other card's kind of helpful, but it's only helpful it's mostly helpful late game, so that's kind of why I just play 4 of this guy. I guess you could, you want to note this, if you want to note this down, you could take out one of him, one of Gildas, and play the 10k Seeker. I don't know his name. But other than that, I'd recommend playing 4. The 4 works out much better in my opinion. Because we also play 3 Seeker Light Blaze Dragon. What he does is when this unit attack hits a Vanguard, if you have a Vanguard with Seeker in its card name, choose one of your other units and that unit gets power plus 5,000 until end of turn. So he's a great, brilliant pressure card. What I normally do with him in late game is I have his column attack first to either pressure out shield, or that means if I pull a critical or something and it slaps on my other side of the rear guard, and it has plus 5,000, you have to guard an extra 5,000. So you either guard this or you guard that one. It just adds to more of the Royal Paladin pressure that you want. It's like the card that Ashley had, Miranda, that gave plus 30,000 to another Ashley. You get it to attack first to make the other side more threatening, whether it hits or not. Well, I mean, you knock out shield, but if it hits, it makes the other side more threatening. If not, you lost like a 10k shield or 5k shield. But yeah, he's good in that respect of doing that. Differences. He adds 5,000, so it's a definite drop of another 5k shield. So very, very, very good pressure card, and you gotta play this guy. Like 3 of them's good. 4 is too much, and that's why I play 4 Gildas, as I said. And yeah, just amazing pressure card with that late game. Just have like, him attack first. If he hits, 5,000 to like your Bladeseeker on the other side. Get your Thing Saver attack, restand, get it to attack again. Oh look, I got a crit. Slap it on Bladeseeker with the power. Bladeseeker attacks, and you just went through all of that. It's a lot. It's a lot to handle. So I've ended games kind of like that. My friends ended games with me because of Ashley Reverse, because of Miranda, as well. So yeah, very, very strong card. And moving on, so we have 1 Seeker Plume Wall Angel, so 1 Quintet Wall, and 3 Guardian Law Seeker Shiron, 3 P guards. The new cards that the new perfect guards for Royal Paladins that came BT16 version E, because these aren't out in the Japanese one. We got lucky. I'm not gloating, but I'm not bragging. And then we have 4 Flail Seeker Hallowed. So what he does, if you don't know, is when this unit is placed on rearguard circle, if your Vanguard is in Legion, this unit gets power plus 4,000 until end of the turn. He's basically an 11k booster for the 1 turn you call him, but he's handy because he can help deal a lot of pressure early game. Get his column to attack last, as I said before with the other guy. Just make your opponent struggle and push them to 4 damage as quick as possible with this, and that kind of helps because you could just ride Thing Saver and try to end it right away. And that's kind of the point of Sync Wingal, using the setup and then getting Thing Saver and getting this guy on to help pressure quicker to 4 damage. So you can really knock your opponent to that 4 damage early with this card. I've done it because my opponent just can't handle it. And yeah, he's just a really strong booster. There are not Seekers don't have the greatest grade 1s from what I've seen as well. But this card's just really, really strong for giving a lot of pressure early game to get your opponent to that damage, so Thing Saver can just wipe them down. Just burn them down. Do your thing. Okay. Anyways, and then we have, for a good faith Seeker Cynric, your 10k beaters. I would only play 3, but as I said, Seekers don't have the best grade 1s. I've looked through all of them, and they're really not that great. So this card's just really, really nice just because it adds that extra pressure early on, and you know what, you could just abuse it, especially with how much extra added pressure you have mid game and late game with the grade 1 that gains 4k and the grade 2 that pressures by adding 5k if it hits. So yeah. And then we have 2 Grynngal Seeker. This card's pretty handy. I normally only hit with it once per game. And what it does is you choose one card in your hand and place it at the bottom of your deck. And when attack hits a Vanguard during the battle, that's the unit is boosted. If you have a unit named Bladeseeker in the same column as this unit, you may pay the cost. If you do, you draw a card, choose a card from your damage zone, and turn it face up. So you want this card behind your Vanguard, because a Bladeseeker in this card column is pretty crappy. But as long as you use, your Sacred Wingal and Thanks for Dragon, even with Alfred Jiv, he has to his Legion mate is also Bladeseeker, so you can I use this card in there too. Just have it behind your Vanguard. If you hit, you get to unflip something, and you can use it with Bladeseeker or Gildas, or just scare your opponent if you get a heal trigger. Another restand coming, but that wouldn't work in this deck because you'd be out of soul pretty fast. I meant the other deck, but anyways, yeah, it's just a strong card for getting rid of cards you don't want in your hand. You put a card at the bottom of the deck, so that card you don't want isn't coming back anytime soon. And then you get to draw a card, and you get to inflict damage, and normally it hits at least once when it's behind the Legion Vanguard. If I've had it in the other, because what I thought I had to do was, I didn't see that, at first I didn't see that it just has to be in the same column, and Legion counted like that. At first I was like, oh crap, well that's 15k column, and I never hit with it. And then I was like, oh, wait, nope, that's not how it works. I pulled a Marley. Yeah. So, yeah, just very, very good card behind your Vanguard, and that's kind of why you only play 2, because you only need 2 for that reason. But yeah, so on to our triggers for certain Kill Seeker Modoron. Okay. For Seeker Herald Wrath Dragon. So 8 crit. For Messegal Seeker. 4 draw, and 4 Seeker Loving Healer. 4 heal. So standard trigger lineup. And yeah, that's really about it. So that's about it for this deck profile, guys. I'm sorry I was a little off. I sounded a little off, but it's because the Cardfight area, I haven't used it to do a deck profile before, so I'm like a little off on how to do this, and I have to scroll up and down and up and down. So I apologize about that, but it was a good deck profile. I got the hang of it eventually. I think you could tell by the time I hit like grade 2. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Try out the deck, very, very strong deck. Deck list, as always, will be in the description below. Remember, comment, go ahead, and subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. The links to my Twitter, Skype, and Facebook will also be in the description below. You can go and check those out. And I'll see you guys next time.